Hey guys, it's Marco from the MRM channel, back with another video, and today I'll be reacting to the new teaser trailer for Fantastic Four First Steps, the new Marvel Studios film set to release this July 25th, and it is about Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four. I don't want to waste any more time, as I am very interested to check out this trailer, so without further ado, let's get into this trailer reaction. Alrighty, make sure everything is good. Alrighty, here we go.
Welcome to the Baxter Building.
Whoa.
We make a point to do family dinner every week.
Oh.
Sunday at 7, on the dot, no matter what. We're all here.
Well, okay. Very retro. Ooh.
Herbie, how's that
Oh,
sauce
Herbie.
coming?
Ooh,
Yeah,
the
I'll be
thing.
the judge of that. Okay.
Not a bad design for the thing.
Oh,
Very comic
Is
accurate.
this guy good or what? I want to add a couple cloves of garlic. Not because it's not delicious. I just want to add a little
Wish
bit
he
of
had a bit more grovel to his voice. This July.
T-5.
Big Richards.
Before
Oh,
we went the first
okay,
time,
yeah.
You couldn't turn invisible.
Yeah.
Ben wasn't a rock.
The best pilot in the world right here.
Yeah. Best looking, he means.
And Johnny never caught fire.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Ben has always been a rock. Johnny is Johnny.
Hi.
See that?
I am
Ooh,
right
okay.
here. Whatever life throws at us, we'll face it together.
Galactus, probably. Alright. Fantastic car? Oh,
As a
Galactus.
family.
Welcome to the family. Fantastivision. Alrighty. Well, that's the trailer done. Yeah. Not a very long trailer, to be honest. It is only like a minute and a half, but I got a lot to say about it. There's some good stuff I'm liking here. Some stuff that looks pretty interesting. But I'm gonna watch the trailer a second time, and then I'll get back to you guys in just a sec. But I have a lot to say on this, so I'll see you guys in just a sec. Alrighty, so after watching the trailer a few times for Fantastic Four, I gotta say this film has now piqued my interest. I was a little bit skeptical at first with the film, considering that this had kind of been in a bit of development hell, so to speak. Mostly because I remember when they first kind of announced this, there wasn't a whole lot of news coming out of it, and I think there had been like a rotation of writers and directors. Like, I remember at one point there was like a rumor that John Watts, the director of the MCU Spider-Man films, the Tom Holland ones, he was rumored to take over, but then I think he kind of left the project. So I guess, so to speak, is that the reason I was so skeptical is there wasn't a whole lot going on with this film. And I also remember that around the time this was being made, Superman, directed by James Gunn, which I have done a trailer reaction on. Definitely check that out. That'll be somewhere up here. When that was being made, there was a lot of news coming from Superman. You know, we were getting all these casting announcements, all these characters, and yet with the Fantastic Four, we hadn't really gotten the Fantastic Four, you know? Like, there were rumors about the story. I think they had locked in a director and all that type of stuff, but we didn't really know who they were playing. And then, all of a sudden, Pedro Pascal is then announced as Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards / Mr. Fantastic, you know? And I think he's definitely a good casting choice. I know at the time, people were a bit kind of, I guess, 50-50 on it because he had appeared in so much, you know? But I think from what I saw in the trailer, he can definitely carry it. As for the other actors, Vanessa Kirby plays Sue Storm, and I think she's definitely got the look for the most part. I think she definitely looks like the Invisible Woman, and I think she'll do a really great job in that role as well. Joseph Quinn, who I talked about in my Gladiator 2 review, he is playing Johnny Storm / the Human Torch, and I think he'll do a pretty good job in that role as well, judging from what I've seen from the trailer as well. He definitely doesn't have that classic, you know, hothead Johnny vibe, but I feel like we'll probably see that in the film for sure, because it's a trademark of his character. How can you not see that? Then, of course, Ebon Moss-Bachrach. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'll probably put a photo up there just to show you who I'm talking about. But he plays Ben Grimm / The Thing, and he was kind of... I think he's also going to do a really great job as well. Something I did notice is I kind of wish they lent a bit more with the Michael Chiklis. Not in the design, but more actually the voice. Because if I'm not mistaken, and do correct me down in the comment section below, I do believe Ben Grimm, the Thing, he is kind of from like New Jersey, New York, you know? So I was hoping he'd have, not necessarily like a New York accent, but I feel like he probably could have benefited with that, maybe a bit more gravelly in his voice, considering he is a rock person, right? Yeah, I don't know, it just feels like his voice feels a bit too smooth, too velvety in a sense, you know? So that was one thing I kind of had an issue with. But otherwise for the cast, I think as a whole, it looks pretty good. Like, they all look like the Fantastic Four, you know? They've got the Grey Temples with Reed Richards, but something else I also noticed in the trailer, and I think this is something that's also kind of, well, sparked an interest for this film inside me, is it's also got a particular aesthetic, a particular style. I noticed, like, right off the bat, it's got a very retro, futuristic kind of vibe, where it's sort of set in the 60s, I believe. That's what I know. I think that's where they're setting the film. But it's still got, like, that futuristic vibe to it. So it's like a different timeline in which the 60s were a lot more advanced, which I kind of dig, you know? I think something that has been kind of lacking with Marvel is something that a project that just needs an extra punch, in a sense. Something that just, when it comes, like, a project that comes out, people go, wow, this looks incredible, you know? And I understand that Captain America 4 is set to come out, and I do want to check that out as well. It looks interesting, but Captain America 4 just feels kind of a bit much like, it feels a bit like a generic espionage, government kind of thriller, but with Captain America, which they kind of did with the Winter Soldier, in a sense. Whereas this, it actually feels like it has its own unique identity. It feels like it's separate of the MCU, but it's still a part of it as well, you know? So, I kind of like that as well. And I think the designs of the characters and the design of the world, I think is definitely what's sparked my interest, you know? Of course, you're probably all wondering, talking about designs, you're probably all wondering what are my thoughts on Ben Grimm / The Thing. And I have to say, it looks really, really good. Compared to previous iterations of The Thing, I'd have to say it's definitely better compared to previous iterations. I mean, the mid-2000s Fantastic Four, they went for a practical suit as well. And, like, that one was fine, but the problem is it was based on Michael Chiklis' height, whereas, you know, The Thing is meant to be a lot bigger. So, you know, he wasn't really too imposing, too, you know, buff or anything. And then with, like, I think it's 2014, 2015 Fantastic Four, or Fan-4-Stick, as some people call it. I just call it a really bad movie. That one, the design of the Thing, the height was right, and I think sort of the texture of the rocks and all that, I think was fine, but he just didn't have the underpants, or even just like a bodysuit would have been nice as well, but, you know, I guess naked rock people is fine as well. So I'm really liking that the design of the Thing is a lot more comic accurate, and that's something else I wanted to mention is, something I noticed, and I was talking to a friend about it as well, he said that the trailer felt a bit campy, and I guess because of the time period and all that, it is kind of a bit campy, but I feel like that's what kind of works. I feel like that's what works with the Fantastic Four, in a sense. I feel like it needs to be that kind of campy, in a sense, because if you think about it, you've got a man who can stretch, pretty much, a man who can set himself on fire, a woman who can turn invisible and set force fields, and a man who's a rock, right? So, in a sense, you know, I think compared to previous iterations, you know, mid-2000s, Fan-4-Stick, it's not even a Fantastic Four movie. I mean, it is, but it's not great. I think the thing that was missing is that they weren't really leaning into the comic book aspects of it. You know, like, even with the mid-2000s, although Tim Story, the director, said he wanted to make it a comedy, which I think it works for the most part, it still feels like they're trying to take it a bit too serious, in a sense. Like, oh yeah, you know, we're doing all these comedy kind of things, but then, like, Doctor Doom is treated like this very serious threat, where... And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, he can be a serious threat, but also he's a man who wears a metal mask and he has some magic and all that. Like, you know, play into the campiness of it, play into the comic books, into the comic book aspects and all that. So I'm really glad that they're doing that, even with the uniforms. I know some people said they kind of look like pajamas in a sense, which they kind of do, but honestly, I'm kind of glad that they went with that design. You know, you've got the blue and the white. It doesn't feel like the standard superhero suit designs, because I know a lot of people complain that Marvel over-designs their costumes. They have a specific format to it, but I'm kind of glad that this kind of breaks the format. So, in a way, it is campy, but I think it actually works for this film. I think there's a lot that I think can work with it, that will work with it pretty much. But otherwise, some other thoughts I had. These are just some quick miscellaneous notes, really. First off, we actually do see the Fantastica, which I think is actually a really, really cool design. It's crazy that, I mean, the Fantastica in the comics and even other media, like, video games, more Lego Marvel superheroes, because it hasn't really appeared in any other video games. But, like, the Fantastica in, other stuff, it's always looked like a big bathtub, to say the least. I'll add some photos in what I'm talking about, but I don't know, it feels like it's never really been done right. And to be fair, in the comics, it hasn't really looked the best, especially, like, when the Fantastic Four first appeared. But this, I'm really liking as I said, the retro-futuristic design. I really like the fact that it's just kind of got this sleekness to it. In a way, I would almost attribute it to Disney Pixar's The Incredibles, in a sense, which The Incredibles is meant to be Disney's version of the Fantastic Four. So I'd like to see how they figure that one out. But yeah, no, I really like the design as well. Something else I also like, was Herbie, the introduction of Herbie, who was kind of like this robot AI assistant with the Fantastic Four. I know initially in Fan4stick they wanted to introduce Herbie, but I think because the MCU was happening at the time, there was still Tony Stark and Jarvis, they didn't want to draw too many comparisons to it, so I think that's fine for the most part. But yeah, Herbie's design I think looks great, and I think the interactions he has with Ben Grimm in the trailer I think look really good as well. Something else I also noticed was I'm pretty sure John Malkovich is in the trailer. I think there were rumors he was going to be in the film, and I'm pretty sure there is a shot of him. Like, I'll put it up there, but I'm pretty sure there's a shot of John Malkovich in the trailer, so that's going to be interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing what they're doing with that. But I think the big thing for me, and I know a lot of people will be really excited about it, is we actually got our first look at Galactus. Now, Galactus is a massive talking point. Is a talking point I really want to talk about quickly, because Galactus had previously his last live action appearance was in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, one of the mid 2000s Fantastic Four movies, and I'm sure everyone would agree with me that the portrayal of Galactus in that film was absolutely terrible. I mean, the fact that he was just a big cloud, and he was just sucking plants and all that, not a great design for the most part. But in this, as I said, I'm so glad that they're actually leaning into the comic book elements, because they really decide to play with the giant purple man with the big helmet and everything, I'm really glad that they're doing that, even though it seems goofy, I feel like this is what's going to make this film so unique compared to other MCU and even other comic book films, is that they're really going ambitious and all that type of stuff. Whether they can rival Superman, though, that will remain to be seen at the box office. But yeah, I definitely think just going for the big purple head, the big purple man, I think is really, really cool as well. So I'm really glad that they're really playing to that as well. I'm really playing into the campiness and the comic book elements as well. And then just something I want to add is more in terms of the casting with Ben Grimm, Ebon Moss-Bachrach. Once again, I hope I'm saying that right. But I know a lot of people have also been saying he technically appeared in The Punisher, the John Bernthal Punisher TV show, which is technically now canon to the MCU because it's connected to Daredevil, and Daredevil's now in the MCU. So I think people are going to be confused how that's going to be explained. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's not that big of a deal, really. But yeah, no, regardless, I'm excited for this film. I think there's a lot of things that it's definitely got right. A couple of things that I'm not too big on as well, but I think there's definitely a lot of things that it gets right. Also, my mind is kind of everywhere right at the moment, but also another thing I like to add is with the Ben Grimm suit as well. I believe that's also practical. I believe that's actually a practical suit. It's not CGI. I think they may have used CGI just to kind of touch it up, maybe just to make some of the animations more smooth. But otherwise, like, it's pretty practical. Like, if you have seen some of the set photos, the leaked set photos, it's actually like a proper suit, proper mask. I think Ebon Moss-Bachrach, once again, I'm hoping I'm saying that right. I think like Michael Chiklis, he pushed for a practical suit. So I think it looks good. I think the suit looks good, and I'm glad they're going practical. The only other time they went practical, besides the mid-2000s, is the 1990s Fantastic Four, which I forgot about. But I think everyone forgot about that because it technically never released. Definitely look it up. Look up Roger Corman's Fantastic Four. But that is probably the only other Fantastic Four media that has come close to this new one as in terms of being comic accurate. But regardless, I think I should probably stop talking now. I really did enjoy this trailer. I think there's a lot going for it, and I really am excited. I really love the vibe, the atmosphere of it, the sort of aesthetic of it all. But regardless, I do hope you guys enjoyed the trailer reaction. I do have other content set to come out. I know recently I posted my Nosferatu review, and I did say it was very late. And I do have other reviews and videos that I'm planning on coming out with. I am still planning on doing a Sonic 3 review and a Sonic movie ranking. I know they are incredibly late because the films did come out in December last year, so I'll just try and get them out as quickly as possible. Also, a Real Pain review I'm hoping to come out with soon, and the Creature Commandos review as well. I know I'm so behind on my schedule, and I'm so sorry to you guys that I'm taking so long, but I do hope you enjoy the content. I do hope you still enjoy them when they do come out, and I still want to thank you guys for enjoying the content that I've uploaded on both on the channel, but also on the Instagram page as well, so I'm really glad that you guys are liking it. But yeah, as always, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below your thoughts on the Fantastic Four trailer, and whether you've seen it, and whether you'll probably see it in cinemas, whether you enjoyed it, all that type of stuff. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And as always, keep watching movies.